Talking about today is the most important tool that you need if you not if only if you just have online income, but even if you have a physical store, a brick and mortar store, this is a tool. Cat's out the bag. It's going to be your email marketing software, specifically your email contact customer relations management software. Not every email marketing software is the same, and I want you to think about email marketing or your email software differently than how you have been thinking about it before. This is what I want you to remember. If you want to start a business online, cold audiences don't convert well. And so what is a cold audience? A cold audience means these people have never heard of you before. So when you think about your social channels, your social media, your YouTubes, your things like this is what you use to create a warm audience. They've been seeing your content on social media. They may have watched your videos. You guys know that. That is how you have come here and hung out with me live. You've seen content from me. You didn't just see one thing and say, oh, you continue to watch content. So you want to take that into your business. One of the reasons that social media is a successful form of marketing is because it's able to warm up your audience. Now, the mistake people make is they keep them on social media. You don't want to keep your audience on social media because you don't own it. You don't own Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You don't own those places. So you have to bring people back to something that you own so that you can continue to communicate with them. So we get that, right? That makes sense. You have a cold audience. You warm them up to want to continue to communicate with you or learn from you or get more information from you. You bring them back to something you own. That is going to be your email database. This is an asset for your business. Okay, so guys, you remember my background is in digital marketing. I have a digital marketing firm. All day long, when we have to run ads for clients, new audiences cost more than a warm audience. So whenever you scale your business and you want to start to market, if you have a set of emails that you upload to these various systems, it's going to be substantially cheaper for you to market to them because you're basically remarketing to them. So this is how I want you to kind of think about this. Your website does not give you direct access to your customer. People may come to your website and never return, but someone is in their email 4 or 5 times a day. So if that's where you show up, that is where you can have the most impact to your customers. So again, you're going to warm your audience up on here. You see me on YouTube, right? So I have a good amount of content on YouTube. And again, you've heard me say this before. Your content is your 24-hour, 7 days a week salesperson. The more you have out there, the more opportunity it is for someone to see it and then want to learn more. Rarely is someone going to see something that you do and be like, oh, I want to buy it now. That is why I stress content to you all so much, because that's how critical it is. Think of it as warming your audience. This is how people can determine if they want to work with you, or if you taught them something, or how your customer service will be, all of that, right? So that's the marketing piece, but email does some other stuff, and I'm going to go over that with you. Now, I was supposed to have all these great slides and things, and because my day got hectic, I didn't create that. So I have some things here, but it's not everything I wanted to say. So let's talk about it. Okay, so like I said before, email is going to be your direct business to customer lifeline. Many of you are on my email list. When I told you I was going live today, you got an email. Again, I'm going to be live all this week, and we're going to talk about various aspects of what you'll need to create your online business. But you need some form of email marketing before you need a website. If you guys have been rocking with me this whole time, I didn't have a website initially, and I created 2 to 3 products before I got a website. I have one now. I haven't updated, but it's not as important. Okay, so I'm telling you this because a lot of people who come to me, they haven't done it before. And from doing it before and then failing, making a bunch of mistakes, I learned a lot. And you can bootstrap this. So don't get caught up trying to get all of the glitz and glamour. When initially you just need to show your customer that they should want to work with you. And the way to do that is to give them content and information and education, and that will make them want to work with you. They're not going to come to you and say, I don't like her website, so I don't want to work with her. Now, if you actually build websites, then of course that could be an issue. But if you are giving information and you are just using YouTube, and from YouTube you give someone a link for the call to action, there you have it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the rest of the stuff. Okay. Now, your email is going to be your store and your service greeter. What does that mean? So a lot of times when you have email, you have to communicate with them. And you know how you have a person at Walmart, usually they're saying hello. That is kind of what your email software is going to be. So if you don't do anything, you need to create a welcome sequence. What is that? This is basically a series of emails that will automatically go to the person once they initially reach out contact for you. Here's why this is important. When someone finds you on the internet, that is going to be the most excited they are to want to work with you. So you have to nurture them, okay? So at the bare minimum, you need to create a welcome sequence. So for those of you who have been to my website or anything like that, you see that, and then you're supposed to have a picture of this, but I'll show it tomorrow. When we come up, I'll show you what it looks like. So basically, somebody comes to my website, it asks them what's important to them, okay? Because I don't want to give people emails that they could care less about. So my audience is usually either you want to move abroad, you want to move to Portugal specifically, or you want to create online income, or you want to do both. You want to move abroad and create online income. So if someone just wants information on Portugal, I don't want to send them online income information. So in your email marketing software, people need to be able to be tagged, okay? So you can tag people based on their interests. So you're not worrying the hell out of this audience you're creating with content that they could care less about. Anyone who said that they were just interested in Portugal, they didn't get the email that people who told me that they were interested in online income received. You follow what I'm saying? So that's first what's important. But when I'm talking about your store service greeter, if someone comes on my website, there's a series of emails that automatically go out to them based on what they said they were interested in. So that is my initial greeting to them. That's my initial, hi, how are you? This is how this is going to work. Here's how I'm going to support you. That's what's important, okay? So that's that. And forgive me, y'all. I'm all over the place because, again, I didn't do what I needed to do. I'll tell you about that in Q&A in case anybody's watching the recording. I don't want to get distracted. Okay. All right. So your email is going to be your store greeter. Now it handles your leads. Now, how does this typically work? So I'm going to use myself as an example. For me specifically, I have 2 lead magnets, right? That's what they're called in the industry. What you use to get someone to give you their email address and say okay to this relationship are called lead magnets. And I think tomorrow I'll help you figure out what a lead magnet is going to look like for your business specifically. I think one of these days I will. This week I'll go over that with you. But what it does is it helps people. You put that out there. I'm sorry, my brain's all over the place. You put that out there. So my first one was my Portugal checklist, right? So if people wanted to know the checklist I use to get my visa, then I included that as a download. People gave me their email address. I gave them a checklist that I used. So that was a very specific audience because people who weren't interested in moving to Portugal wouldn't ask for a checklist. Typically, some people are weird, but for the most part, that is what people use. And that was my lead magnet. And when people came into my email software, I was able to tag them as Portugal interests. So anytime I had content that was Portugal specifically related, I can send it to that group of people. And let's say with the language class, you guys know we do a Portuguese language class. I sent that to people who said they were interested in Portugal. If you come to Portugal, most likely you're going to want to learn language, right? So that is who I sent it to. So my other lead magnet is the Digital Nomad Toolkit. This is also a separate audience of people who are interested in creating online income. So that was it was a list of software that I recommend that people use if they want to create online income. It just makes things a lot easier navigating digitally, okay? So I include that. But people who wanted it clearly were interested in online income or tech in that area. So in the back end of my software, which is what I was going to show y'all today if I had more time, in the back end of my software, I am able to see where people are and what their interests are and make sure I'm only giving content to the people who said that they want that type of content. That is the relationship and the respect you have to give to the audience that you are creating, and they gave you their contact information. Okay. All right. What else does it do? I don't even know. Okay. Nurture your potential clients to turn them into customers. Okay, great. So again, we're talking about all of this is when someone comes to you, there may not be a warm lead yet. So you have to nurture your potential clients. There are people on my list who may have been on my list for 2 years, and maybe they weren't ready for whatever in their life. And now because I'm in their email, it's live, y'all. Because I'm in their inbox. Dang, I'm in their inbox. So they see my name, they see my face, they see the content, they see the information. So whenever I have a product related to that, it's an easier sell. You can't come out here and feel like you're going to go have an online business, have a cold audience, and not show them what they could potentially get working with you. It just does not work that way. And so I know I really push down your face to put content out there, but that is the reason, because your content is not only, again, your salesperson, it's also what you use to warm the audience. Okay, that is what you're going to use to warm your audience. So after you warm your audience, they give you their information. Now you have to nurture that relationship. You cannot have an email list and not talk to them. You have to communicate with them. You have to figure out where they are, what their goals are. And if you do this if you niche this down, this is why I also stress that you really need to niche down your audience, because if you were trying to be general, there is no way you can give specific content to a general audience. It's too hard. But if you stay in a particular industry, it's very easy to give content that's useful for the audience that you want to seek out for, right? So I hope that makes sense. Y'all, I'm all over the place. Okay, what else? What else I got up here? Okay, it's a revenue generator. Now, so many of you know I do various workshops. I'm doing workshops for the next 6 months. I'm probably not going to do them during the summer. Full disclosure, the workshop I'm doing this month, the link is in the description. It's the email income harvest workshop. I'm doing that on Sunday. Okay, so I know we had a Wednesday class, but we switched everybody to Sunday. So we're doing Sunday. I'll be live. We'll go over software, all that great stuff. What was my point? Revenue generator. So here's the thing. Once you build a warm database of individuals that like working with you, that are interested in working with you, now you can literally send an email when you have a product or service. And just with email, you don't even have to go to social. Just with email, you can either sell out your class, people can buy your book, whatever it is that you are offering, you can sell that right in your email. You can't necessarily do that with a website. And this is why I'm saying this. If you put something on your website, you don't know if people are going to come back to your website. Like, what is the reason that they'll come back to their website? But they always go back to their email. Because they have to. Everything is email. Even the social media, they'll say email is dead. Even all the social media platforms that exist, they need your email to set up an account. Okay? So understand email is super, super important. And if you create your relationship correctly and you're giving value to your customer, when they open your email, they know it's going to be value in your emails. So if you out here just saying, hey, y'all, I did this, don't nobody care. Like, how are you helping people? You just sending them an email telling them what you're doing? And sending them some pictures of yourself. I'm only saying that because I have gotten emails like that. People have sent me emails or put me on their email list and they're just talking about themselves. Don't do that. Please don't do that. We are not engaging in narcissistic marketing, okay, folks? We will make sure that we communicate with our audience and decide and understand what they need so that we can create product or services that help them, okay? So that's the revenue generator. So I have some other things. And if you have questions about anything I'm talking about so far, just go ahead and put them in the chat box and I'll make sure to go through that. So let's see, I got some other notes here. This is what you're gonna do at the bare minimum. If you have an online business or if you have brick or mortar, you need a welcome sequence at the bare minimum. Now, we'll talk about how to create the welcome sequence and what it should include. I think we do that tomorrow. I'll be here till Friday, same time. I'll be more organized, I promise. And I'll be here till Friday. And every day I'm going to do the Q&A and I'll answer your questions. So at the bare minimum, you need some form of a lead magnet. Now, when we do our Q&A, we can talk about some ideas of what a lead magnet may look personally for your business. But that's going to be necessary because that is how you're going to get people's email address. And then from that, you are going to communicate with them. You're going to communicate with them to see what they need in the industry and how your skill set can assist them. Now, I don't encourage going out and creating a whole bunch of product and services and courses and all of that before you communicate with your audience. Because if you have been the type of person where you write a book or you have a class and you do all these things and you get no sales when you launch it, that is why. Because you didn't communicate with your audience first. You may be creating something that they're not even interested in. So if understand in this whole process of what your email marketing software, this is the corporate dating part, okay? You don't just go to someone and say, will you be my girlfriend or my wife? You gotta date a little bit, see if they're interested. This is exactly what you're doing with your customers. And just decide if your customer was dating you, not literally, but you wouldn't want to be aggressive. You would want to ask questions. You would want to be thoughtful. You want to be valuable. That is how you want to operate in your business. And so email helps you do that. Your website does not. I am not saying before later on somebody come in my comments like, well, websites are important. I'm not saying that websites aren't important. I'm saying your most important thing, particularly if you were just starting off. Email is going to be the most important thing because this is your direct line to your customer. Now, let me move some stuff up because I had some raggedy notes that I put up here too. Okay, take a screen. Okay. So here's a couple other things. When you have something that you can communicate and tag what customer like what product or is doing what thing, that is how you can start to automate your business. So for example, let's say you have an online store and you sell a particular type of product. When someone buys your product, you can tag them. Let's say they like activewear. You can tag them as activewear. If you have the appropriate email marketing software. Not all of them are the same. I use ActiveCampaign if anyone cares. You can tag them based on their purchase or their buying history. I was going to show you all in my database, but I couldn't. Anyway, so you're going to tag them based on that. That way, when you know that there's another item specific to that, you can already create an automated sequence that will go to them and advertise that product slowly. Okay, you don't just want to scream at your customer, hey, we have this product, come buy it. Talk about how the product is useful, maybe how some of your customers are using, how they like it, maybe some testimonies. Understand, ultimately, we are working location independent. We're using technology, but you're still selling to people. You still are selling to people with feelings and emotions and stuff to do. So be considerate in your marketing message and in your emails and in your content to understand what your customer may experience, because that is how you increase your conversion. Okay. You can have a website, but it doesn't convert. You can have an email list, but it doesn't convert. You can have social media, but it doesn't convert. You know how many people out here got all these followers and they can't do nothing with them? Because if you're engaging in narcissistic marketing and you're not communicating with your clients, it's going to be really hard to figure out what they need and creating product for that based on your skill set. I hope that's making sense. All right, guys, if you have some questions, hey, Julie. Okay, what else did I need to tell y'all real quick? I promise to be much more organized tomorrow. I'll tell y'all what I was doing during the Q&A in case anybody's watching the recording. I can cut that part out. Okay. Also, what I want to talk to you is about like the customer appreciation. So because in my system, I'm able to see the life journey of a customer from the moment they came into my funnel to now. I can see how they got into my funnel, what particular workshop got them into my funnel, what particular content got them into my funnel, and what they interact with and what they enjoy. So I try to do like things throughout the year, specifically for my customers to show my appreciation. But also this is a great way to get more feedback and learn how else you can serve your client. So for example, many of you attended my office hours and all of that was free, but it also helped me figure out how I can provide better service for the Driven Spice brand in addition to my digital marketing company. So you basically have a focus group And companies pay millions of dollars for this. So you are having an asset for your business. You just got to make sure that you're using it and you're giving and you're being gracious with that, right? So let's see. Creating content like this. Let's talk about this real quick. Creating informed customers. This is why content is super, super important, right? So, and I'm going to give you an example. So there's a CPA that I like, and he did a particular workshop on how to create a business inside your Roth IRA and how to basically build your retirement account through that, right? And mind blown, right? And so again, that piece of content that he put out was a 24-hour, 7 days a week salesperson. And it immediately made me want to work with his firm. But more importantly, what it did was it educated me on the process that even if I can't work with that firm, I can now take that information and go to other firms and say, this is what I want to do. Either they know how to do it or they don't. And if they don't know how to do it, then that means I can now vet them and say, I don't want to work with this firm. So what creating content does as well, it helps create an informed customer. Because even the questions I get from some of you is a lot different now than what it was before. You can specifically tell me questions that are less general so I can give you a real result. So for example, before somebody may say, I want to create an online business. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do with that? Like, what? Versus someone being super specific, like, my industry is this, I do this, I consider that, and this is what I want to do. When someone gives me that type of information, I can help them immediately. But when everything is general, it doesn't work. So consider your email and your content. It will help you get a more informed customer when they are ready to jump on. So when someone's ready to execute, and let's say they want to consult with me, they have so much more energy and more education than they would have if I didn't create the content to give them this bit of information. Does that make sense? So in your industry, your content is going to help you develop your relationship. Your email marketing is going to help you nurture that relationship, and it will help you create more informed customers, right? Okay. I think that is what I have for you today. And we're going to go over to Q&A. So if you have some questions, go ahead and queue it up. Let me know what your questions are, and I will answer them. I will stick around as long as you need me. I don't feel like I've edited that. Did I edit that? I must have. Y'all, I promise. Okay, so now that we're in Q&A, can I tell you something that's just really off topic? Like, it has nothing to do with online marketing. So today I went to this audio studio in Portugal, and it's so cool. So they needed an American voice or accent, and they're going to use AI to create movies in other languages. What? Isn't that cool? So it took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, which is why you don't have any beautiful effects and stuff flying around, because I'm extra. But that is what I was doing. So I just got back. But as soon as it's over, they're saying it could be like the future of movies, because you can just use AI and a voice over and connect it and do some magic. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that is what I was doing today. It was super cool. Shout out to Bruno if he is watching. So anyway, I am here. Tangent. I'll try to make sure to edit that out. Okay, so do we have any questions? All right, folks, if you have any questions, let me know. Hey there, Kathy. Okay, so it looks like y'all don't have any questions. So if y'all have any questions, I'm out of here. I will be here tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about, I don't know what we're talking about. Y'all, I'm not ready. We're talking about something. I think we're talking about what information to give your clients, like how to find out what they need. If that's not what we're talking about, we are talking about this week. I'm going to be more organized the rest of the week, I promise, okay? All right. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Julie. I hate emails like those. Pat self on the shoulder. I don't read them. Right. Exactly. Email still holds as much weight today. Of course it does. Okay. That's a really good question. So let's bring them on. This is a super good question. Okay, so email still holds much weight today. Well, I guess what are you comparing it to? It's not too many things. Like, how many times you check your email inbox? I'm sure you check it 3-4 times a day. Now, having your email or your particular email not be noisy depends on the content that you are giving them. So for example, remember I told you if you're going to do your lead magnet, that is going to be the most excited someone is when they come in contact with your brand. Okay. After that, if you don't nurture that relationship correctly, they are either going to want to get off your list or never open your email. So that first email you send needs to be value packed and important. Don't be sending no emails about yourself because no one cares. Okay. You want to send something that's super helpful, and that depends on the industry you're in. If you want to tell me what your industry is, I can help you with that. But your first email, which is why we have a welcome sequence. When you create your welcome sequence, you want to really sit back and think about your audience and what they need and what's going to be helpful, because this is what you're using to nurture the relationship. So if they learn by the first email that your content is boring or it sucks or it's not written well or whatever it is, why would they open your email after that? So if someone's interested in the content that I am going to provide because my content has warmed them up, when they get my email, they're going to open it. So the way that you get out of the noise, the inbox itself is easy. Like, you go to your inbox. Everybody goes to their inbox. That's not the issue. The issue is you developing a good enough message in the beginning, and then you taking care of your audience throughout. So even if you do a good welcome sequence, but then throughout it, you either not communicating with them at all, or you're not giving them good content, it's going to turn noisy and they're not going to listen anymore. So a lot of times, you're right. A lot of people have email, but they don't. Their message is horrible. So that's why that doesn't work. Hey, Steph, you said What does mean? Talk to me. Give me some insight, Steph. What does mean? I can't answer that. All right, let's see. Hey there, honey. Okay, question. Do you believe that one should create a separate YouTube page to promote or speak on your business endeavors, or add it to the current page? What? See, this is why I need to hear y'all voices, because I need more information, because I don't all the way understand this question quite. Do you believe that you should create a separate YouTube page to promote or speak on your business endeavors, or add it to your current page? I don't. Well, here's the thing. It depends. I mean, there are people who, if I understand your question correctly. So for me, I put in the banner, I talk about business, living abroad, and food. Like, that is what's important to me, right? So if someone just wants Portugal information from me, they will unsubscribe. And they have. I don't care. So I think it depends. First of all, creating one YouTube channel is already work within itself. Okay, it's already a lot of work. Once you develop your audience and you get your following, then you can branch off to something. I'm sure you've seen people do this. You can branch off to something if that's what you want to do. But I would say concentrate on one space first, because it's easy to multiply once you have the audience in one place. Like, some of the stuff for people who need really technical stuff as to how to do stuff, I probably would never put on this channel, because it would probably, like, what are we talking about? But I can send an email and say, hey guys, if you want something super technical as to what type of technology, how to log in certain cookies in the back end of your website, come here and I'll teach you that. You follow what I'm saying? I couldn't do that if I didn't have email. That's why I'm telling you, it is a direct line of communication to your client. I can send y'all an email after I get off this live and be like, what y'all need? You can't do that on a website. You can't. So when I'm telling you, if you don't have a website yet, that does not mean that you don't launch your business. Okay. That's not what that means. It just means you're going to, do things a little differently, and you'll find out you could probably give better customer care because you're communicating. Oh, let me give you another reason why you need to employ email. Specifically, a customer relationship management tool like ActiveCampaign, because sometimes it's going to help you deal with customer service, right? So I would have one time, I'm going to try to tell a very vague story, right? So I had a service that I was advertising, and the person probably changed their mind, didn't want to do the service or whatever, and they sent something on my YouTube channel in opposing to responding back to the several emails that they were sent. So they said that they hadn't received any correspondence from my company ever in life, whatever. And I was like, so I looked in my software. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. All that stuff's automated. Did I make a mistake? So I log into the software, and if you have the appropriate software, you can see how many times they opened it and their IP address and what city they were located when they opened it. So I was like, okay, all right. So there must be a bigger issue. So let me communicate in such a way that can give this individual out, because clearly something's not right. Because if something didn't connect there. So I say all that to say, there's going to be times in your business that if you don't have those paper trails, or you don't have the appropriate software to deal with whatever comes your way, it's going to cost you more money. Okay. So that was just a random thought. What did I answer? Did I answer Shanice's question? I think you're asking, do you need more than one YouTube channel? Initially, no. I'm going to advise that you stay with one form. Question: Have you set a date for the email workshop? I did. Yes, the email workshop is this Sunday. And the link's in the description of this video. So yes. Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay. So I don't feel like my comments gonna let me bring all your question on. So let me read it over here. It says, I'm in private practice psychotherapist, and I'm venturing into life coaching services to reach more people and drop the insurance game. Am I at a spot where I should be able to benefit from the email class? Here's the thing. I would prefer that you get super specific on your audience really quickly. So, and I think I've said this in a class. I don't know if I said it out loud. I don't think I have. When people say that they want to be a life coach, don't get mad at me. And all the life coaches, don't come for me in the comments later. It is super general. Okay, it is super general. You say you're going to coach on all of life. Like, that's a big thing. Like, even people who are sports coaches at least will specify what sport. When someone says they're a life coach, I am telling you, your audience doesn't know when they need you. Like, do I go to you before I go to a therapist? Are you going to help me grieve because my husband passed away? Like, are you going to help me with my career? It is super general when someone just says life coach. So if you can't get more specific on who your audience is and how you're going to help them, it's going to be really difficult to send the appropriate emails. So the email class may not be right for you at this moment. Okay. I would suggest you get super, super specific on who your audience is. Because even if you're a psychotherapist, are you a psychotherapist to just children? Are you a psychotherapist? Like, you know what I mean? So getting super specific in your messaging is going to be important before you send them an email, because ideally you want people to want to open your emails. And if it's super general, it's going to be impossible for them to understand. I lost my train of thought. It's going to be possible to understand how they can work with you. See, y'all, I'm sorry. This is what live gives. Okay, Eastbound Income Harvest Paid Workshop, or it is a paid workshop, honey. I give my good stuff. You pay for it. Yes, it's a paid workshop. Hey, Steph. Oh, that's what you're talking about. The AI video for movies has been floating around lately. There's also a virtual world where you build the set. And yes, I will keep you posted on how it works. But the way they showed, like, so they had a woman, I think it was in Dutch. I feel like the movie was in Dutch. And they needed an American person accent, and maybe they're gonna do something to it and it'll look like it goes on this person. I have no idea what is gonna happen, so I will definitely keep you posted with that. Okay, should you have one YouTube channel page encompass different interests? So yes. Okay, should you have more than one YouTube channel? I know people do it. But the people who do it and they do it successfully have built one channel out first. If you have not have at least 1,000 subscribers so that you can get monetized, and then you jump on to another another YouTube channel, it's just going to be a lot more work for you, because some of you all aren't producing enough content for one YouTube channel. And in your mind, if you feel like you're going to produce enough for two, because remember, guys, you are working now for a computer algorithm. And the algorithm is interested in certain things. Consistency is one of them. How engaged are people? So there's a variety of things that are going to be measured for YouTube to push you up in the ranks to care about your particular channel. And if you haven't succeeded yet with one channel, it's going to be super hard, and it's going to take you a lot longer to do it with two. Now, again, you can always take the people or the audience that you have on this one channel and bring them to something else. I know how difficult it's going to be, so I kind of put at the break, look, I'm going to talk about business, Portugal, and food. If you rock with that, cool. If you don't, good night. And don't get caught up by the number, especially after you reach 1,000 subscribers, because that is the moment where you can get monetized. And I'll talk a little bit more about YouTube. It probably won't be this week, but I will give y'all some content on that. So don't stress yourself about creating it. If you make it clear, like in your banner or around your YouTube space, that these are your interests, you can do that. If it's a personal brand. So this Driven Spice is like about me. But if I was doing a corporate brand, there was no way in the world I would mix industries or topics within that corporate brand. Does that make sense? Because it's a personal brand for me, I am multifaceted. You know what I mean? Like I'm a digital marketer, I'm an entrepreneur, I live abroad, I'm a Black woman. Like, I'm multifaceted. But when you are trying to market specifically for your corporation, you got to be super specific so that you can get a super specific audience. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out when to approach personal. Okay. All right, guys. And if you have your questions, here we are. Talk to me. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out when I approach person via email. Do they have to interact with me, show interest in my service? I don't think I understand your question. See, we need a voice line. I need people to be able to call in so I can have you follow up right then and there. Trying to figure out when I approach person via email. Do they have to interact with me, show interest in my service? I don't understand your question, love. I know y'all like, this girl's an idiot. She can't. I can read. I just clearly can't comprehend. What is it that they liked or commented on my content? How do I know when to jump on this? What? Trying to figure out when I need to approach in person email. Here's, okay, let me take a stab at this. But the nomadic Jamaican, I could be wrong completely. Okay, or you can go ahead and put some more information to make this easier for me. Because sometimes I get emails from persons reaching out to help me. I never even saw them online. I don't feel like I understand. I'm sorry. So here's the thing. Let me just reiterate how this works. So ideally, you have a topic, right, that you're very educated in said topic. And let's say, let me talk to you how we did our plastic surgeons. So plastic surgeons specifically wanted to increase their business in rhinoplasty, which is a nose job. Okay. So ideally, you want to have your content in front of individuals that are searching for nose job. And I'll show you how to do that later on this week. So you want to put those people who are in front of you. Now, if somebody's interested in getting a nose job and you're a professional, you're a plastic surgeon who does that, what is some content that would be helpful for them? So you can create a checklist of questions you should ask a plastic surgeon before you are interested in getting a nose job or rhinoplasty, right? Or if you are a yoga instructor, but you want to focus, because everyone's a yoga instructor. So how are you different from other yoga instructors? Are you a yoga instructor that works only with premenopausal women? Are you a yoga instructor that works with toddlers? Are you a yoga instructor that works with people who have, let's say, back surgery? How are you a different yoga instructor? And so based on that specific niche that you are working with, then you create content or some type of cheat sheet or checklist or something that would be helpful for that audience. So like I said, I did the Digital Nomad Toolkit because anybody who's watching my content who's interested in working location independent, there's a series of tech you're going to have to get. Like, how you going to work in any country and not have any technology? Like, that's impossible. So a person who's interested in doing that will want the toolkit. They will download the toolkit. I will give them what they asked for, and now they are on my list, and they'll get a welcome sequence, if I program that one correctly. But that's ideally how it works. So I hope I answered your question. When I do an email, when do I email potential clients? On my Instagram. Okay. All right. I think I'm getting it now. Okay, when do I email potential clients? On my Instagram, I sometimes get likes or comments. Do I email these people? Now, on Instagram, you probably don't have their email. How are you going to get these people's email addresses? Folks, if you are finding people on YouTube and like we're on right now, I don't have y'all email addresses unless you already gave it to me. If you're already on my list, I have your email address. But the lead magnet is how you get people's email address. If someone's on your Instagram, you don't have their email address. You have their Instagram profile. That is why I'm telling you all to get people off of social media and get them back to something you own. If your Instagram account gets hacked, if they decide to stop allowing you to reach the audience that said that they wants to reach you, all of that stuff, you got to bring them back to something you own. Okay, so likes do not equate to email. It doesn't even equate to money. Okay, so their contact information is sometimes on their profile. Don't you dare. That is not what you want. You want someone to take the step and give you permission that they want you to communicate with them. Do not go getting emails off of people's profiles and just emailing them blanketly. That is not a good look. Because if someone did that to me, I would lose my shit. I don't play those games. So no, don't do that. No, that is why the lead magnet is so important, because these people raised their hand and they gave you permission to contact them. Don't you be out here contacting and emailing people who didn't give you permission. That's actually illegal. Like, there's a thing that people have to give their permission. So don't do that. All right. We've been on here for a minute. If no one else has any questions, I'll be here tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't remember what we're talking about, but if you go to my see, I promise not to be this raggedy tomorrow. Okay? I promise not to be this raggedy. It was too much. I committed to too much today, and I shouldn't have done that. So tomorrow I am in the house working all day, and I will be a better person. But I hope you guys found some content in this and you can figure out how to use this in your business. That's why I asked. I was wondering. Yes, honey, don't go out here just sending emails to the people. Don't do that. So yeah, if we have a series of things that we're going to talk about. They're on the YouTube channel. And if you're on my list, I sent you an email as to the days and where we're going to work on it. I'm just all flustered and all over the place because I came in here late. So don't be mad at me. I hope this was helpful. Awesome. I love it. Yes, I can't wait to hear more about your business, Shanice. So again, just to follow up, determine who your audience is. Give them something that will be helpful to said audience so that you can get their email address so they can give you permission to communicate with them. Once they get them, you need to already have programmed a series of emails that will go out to them based on the industry and the expertise you can lend. Then in that, communicate with them. Like, I know some people, I talk about how important email is, and then they'll say, well, I don't know what to say to them. We'll talk about that this week. I know that's stressful for some of you. Some of y'all are stressed out because you're like, I'll get an email address, but I don't know what to talk to them about. I get it. Okay. But for your welcome sequence, we're going to talk about that, and we're really going to break that down in the workshop. So join me for the workshop. I'll be live, and the workshops are cool too because you get to meet other entrepreneurs who are doing the same thing. They share their information, and then Kellyanne, if she's listening, she was super helpful with her recommendation on our last workshop. She was able to process the information that I said, but then Rosalind came and she gave an example of her business. So basically, Rosalind and I were able to create basically a case study live right there, and then everything else was able to click. And so Kellyanne gave some really good feedback to say that part of the workshop was super helpful for her because it connected the dots. So it's also a way for you to meet some other entrepreneurs that are just doing a damn thing, which is always exciting. So I will be here. Okay, I know that says March 23rd. That date ain't there no more. We pushed everybody to 27 because some of y'all going back to the office. Your jobs made y'all come back to work, and y'all not home in the middle of the day like y'all used to, like y'all were able to play with me before. So we're doing it on Sunday. We moved everybody to the Sunday date. I think that's it. We don't have any more questions. I'm about to be out here. Please join me the rest of this week, and we're going to go over what you say to people once you get them on your email address. How do you find your audience? How do you attract your audience? We're going to do all that this week, so take notes. Now, this email income harvest class is not for everybody. If you do not know who your audience is, don't sign up for the class. Because ultimately you need to at least know that so that you can develop the appropriate marketing message so that you can communicate with them. If you don't know who your audience is, this particular workshop is not going to be best suited for you, okay? All right, y'all. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions later, just go ahead and if you're on my list, shoot me an email if you can't attend live, or you can put questions. I promise not to be this raggedy tomorrow. If you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll try to get to them. I've been getting your DMs and your emails, and I'm sorry, but this is why I try to do these live so I can get everybody's questions out at once. So until next time, I know you can be anywhere you decide to be here with me, and I appreciate it. Thanks.